Hi, guys. My name is Day, and this is my podcast. And for anyone who's so confused, which I fully understand, this podcast is called On and On, and it's basically about everything I'm really interested in. So, fashion, arts, photography, and then a lot of life stuff that I feel like we all go through, things maybe that go on in our heads that we don't really talk about or feel vulnerable to talk about. So I feel like I made this podcast to just talk about everything and share some things that I learned throughout the years in arts. And I want you guys to tell me as well, to teach me whatever you guys know. I just want it to be like a platform for growth in life and in the creative industry. So, I'm doing this first episode about imposter syndrome. Why? Because I feel like I really relate to this topic, and I feel like it's a topic to introduce myself as well. And I feel like it's a topic that everyone goes through, whether you're in the creative industry or not. I feel like it's such a relatable thing that we all go through. So I felt like it was the perfect topic to start my podcast journey with. Um, okay, so let's talk first of all, what is imposter syndrome? Because I've told a lot of my friends that this was gonna be my first topic, and a lot of people were like, what is imposter syndrome? And I genuinely didn't know that a lot of people don't know the term, but when I explained the term, a lot of people got it and they're like, oh, that's what I go through. So maybe a lot of you guys also go through imposter syndrome, but you just don't know that that's what it's called, imposter syndrome. Okay, so the Google definition is a psychological experience where you feel like a fraud despite your achievements. So basically, you just feel like a fraud. You feel like an imposter. You feel like you don't belong. You feel like nothing you do is good enough. You don't feel like you fit in. You doubt yourself. You compare yourself, especially when it comes to your career. Um, it's basically a feeling like you don't deserve your accomplishments or your place in certain spaces. Okay, so let's talk about signs that you have imposter syndrome, and then we can go forward with how I feel like I've always had imposter syndrome. Okay, so number one, you question your abilities. So you feel like you're not good enough, you doubt your talent and your skill, even though you feel like you're knowledgeable enough in whatever you do, and you feel like you earned your place. Attributing success to luck. So you think that the achievements that happen to you are just by luck, or oh, it just happened, or there's external factors, instead of just being like, you know what, I'm good enough, and you know what, I studied hard enough, or I worked hard enough to achieve what I have achieved. Third is fear of being found out. So you have a fear of people finding out that you're not all that. You have a fear of people finding out that you're actually not good enough, or you know what, she's actually not that good or not that talented, or her work is like whatever. You always have that constant fear over your head. Four, overworking to compensate. So you push yourself to the extreme so no one sees you as a failure. Five, discounting positive feedback. So whenever someone gives you a compliment, you brush it off, or you're like, you know what, they're just being nice. They just say that because I'm their friend, and so on. Constant comparison. So you compare yourself to people around you, to your friends, to people in your industry. You're always like, no, they're better, they know more. I actually know nothing, and so on. Okay, let's talk about my personal experience and how I feel like I resonate with imposter syndrome so much. So, guys, ever since I was a teeny tiny girl, all I've ever loved in life is fashion. Like, genuinely, anyone would ask me, what do you want to do when you grow up? I'd always be like, fashion, 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 like anything in fashion. And when it came to picking my major for university, what did I pick? Not fashion. You'd think the obvious answer would be fashion, but no, I picked mass communication. Um, and then I minored in luxury marketing. Okay. And then when I finished uni and I had to get an internship, I was living in Dubai at the time and I had all these amazing fashion brands around me, next to me. I knew people who work in the fashion industry, but what did I do my internship in? In events, still not fashion. But what everything, like all these things had in common in my life is it's always surrounding fashion, sorry. Like my major was mass communication, but I studied luxury marketing, so there's still fashion in it, but it's not fashion. And then my internship, it was events, but it was events for fashion companies like Valentino, like Dior, and so on. So I was always close to fashion, but I never had the guts to actually be in it. Why? Because I was always scared, guys. Yani, honestly, anyone who knows me personally knows how much I adore fashion. Like, I adore the arts in general, music, photography, like literature. Like, I love reading, I love watching movies and like understanding them and like watching documentaries. Like, genuinely, like, that's my happiness. And I've always been this way. It's a bit weird how much time and energy I put in this, and then when I'm in a position to choose, I don't choose fashion. I never chose fashion. And it's a bit weird, and I used to question it a lot. And why am I holding myself back like this? Like, what's happening in my brain? Yani, what's going on? And then that's when like I kind of stumbled upon the term imposter syndrome. And no, I always feel like an imposter. I always feel like I'm not good enough to even be in the space. I'm not good enough to even know people in the industry or talk to them, or like I'm gonna be seen as an amateur, as yani just this random girl who's like trying to be here. Yani, but the thing is that my brain talking to myself, and that's why I never chose fashion. I never chose to go to fashion school. I never chose to work in fashion or even do anything like. And it's a very complicated and deep thing when you actually think about it. Anywho, and when did I break the imposter syndrome? It's okay, so I was living in a rabbit hole. I was in a loop. I was miserable. My routine was the same thing every single day. And it's not like I was bored or living somewhere that's boring. I was living in Dubai. I was surrounded by such fun people, by my friends. I was like, all the fashion brands were around me. A lot of events were happening. A lot of opportunities were happening. There was a lot of things going on, but I was still miserable. And one day, the opportunity just came, genuinely, a few months before the new school semester starts. An opportunity to go to study in Istituto Marangoni in Milan. And it just randomly happened, guys. I never even like, I was not prepared for it, but the opportunity came and I was like, you know what? What do I have to lose? Yani, really, what do I have to lose? I'm already miserable. I'm already doing the same things over and over again. I'm not happy. What do I have to lose? And it was a few months before moving to Europe. And you'd think that it would be like this fun, spontaneous, random thing. And it was, but at the same time, it was me going somewhere where I don't know the language. I don't know anyone there. I've never like lived in Europe. I've always lived alone and independently, but it was still close to home. Like, I was living in the UAE. So it wasn't far, but living in Europe is a different thing, honestly. And it was such a new experience. And I feel like when I just trusted myself, I trusted that I can do it alone, and I trusted that I've always heard that fashion school is scary, but I was like, you know what, you have yourself, yani adi, it's fine. I'm gonna push myself and I'm gonna make friends and I'm gonna do everything I can in my power to like get my foot in the door in any terms possible. I am gonna get my foot in the door. And I feel like when I did that and when I trusted myself, like I stopped hearing the voices in my head, which are not even my voices. They're just voices of other people maybe doubting me or giving me like negative feedback on my career. I just stopped listening to these noises or just did it. And I feel like that's when I was like, you know what? I belong. I belong. I'm not perfect. No one is perfect. No one has all the answers and all the keys to like be in their industry, will it be the smartest person in the room or the most knowledgeable. Best, you have it in you to be there, and you do belong, and you if you want it hard enough, and if you love it, and if you want to be in it, you can. Like, it's, you just have to change. Like, something has to click in your brain to change, and to just be like, you know what do I have to lose? But let's go back into um talking about what's the root of imposter syndrome. And in order to change imposter, not change, but in order to like get out of it, you have to understand the root, why it happens. The root of imposter syndrome is shame, basically. I feel like we're taught shame from a very young age. يعني من نحنا we're young, people are like shaming us, and adults are shaming us for really silly things that you don't need to be shamed of. And like, يعني there's a way to communicate to kids, or there's a way to tell them not to do something. But I guess a lot of adults did not know how to communicate or tell us not to do something, and instead they used to shame us. Let me give you an example. أنا من وأنا صغيرة I used to love putting makeup, okay? Love putting makeup. Love, adore. Okay, part of it was because I wanted to look like my mom and my older sister, and I see them putting makeup, and I'm like, ooh, what is that? And I wanna try it. And also part of it was I wanted to look older. I wanted people to take me more seriously because I'm the youngest in my family. So I wanted people to not see me like a kid anymore. That is all true. But at the same time, I loved the art of it, okay? I loved understanding يعني how to do a matte look, how to do a dewy look, how to do an eyeliner, and how to do like eyeshadow and blah blah blah. Like, I loved it as an art, and I used to watch so many videos to understand يعني how to do proper makeup and so on. And it started from a young age, like 12 or younger, okay? And I get that for a lot of people that's a very young age to start putting makeup, and I agree. يعني أنا inshallah when I get my daughter, I'm not gonna let her put makeup from that that young. But again, as I mentioned, there's a way to teach kids, or there's a way to talk to kids. But instead of me being taught, or like people telling me, no, listen, there's chemicals in these products, how about we get skincare, or how about we get less harmful products, how about مثلا we do this once a week, or sorry, not once a week, like once a month, where we can play around, and then the rest of the month we don't put makeup because it's bad for our skin. There's always ways to teach kids not to do something. But I guess instead they were like, you're too young, what are you doing? You people, kids your age don't do this, what are you doing? This is not good. Like, it was very shameful, and it had a lot of negative connotation. فأكيد I grew up being ashamed إنه every time I put makeup I feel like I'm doing something bad. And what am I doing? يعني there's shame surrounding the topic. And when I grew up خلاص يعني I'm an adult, the same people who shamed me all my life were the same people to tell me, I have a gathering, please put makeup on me. I have a wedding, please put makeup on me. Your makeup is so good, why aren't you a makeup artist? You really understand like how to put makeup on people. Why don't you do this more often? If only you were a makeup artist, you'd make billions by now. What are you doing? Like, I swear to God, it shocked me. And how can you tell this kid that whatever they're doing is so shameful for so long? يعني I grew up with that shame, and then when I'm older وخلاص يعني fully يعني an adult, you come to me and you're like, oh, like, why aren't you a makeup artist? يعني it's that simple. Why aren't you a makeup artist? I feel like a lot of adults يعني يعني I'm not saying they're doing it in a malicious way. صراحة a lot of people don't know better, and أحس as a generation, every generation we understand more. إنه kids whatever you do to kids really affect them. حتى how you speak to them, even if they're kids, they remember. They always remember. And no, it's not like, she's 12, she won't remember, ولا she's 10, ولا she's 5, she won't remember. No, they do remember, especially traumatic things, especially things that trigger their personalities growing up, especially things that trigger how they see how they see themselves, ولا things that are literally their personality. أكيد if they're triggered, they're gonna grow with it, or they're gonna be like, بس إنه this happened when I was younger, وأحس إنه no, I can't do that because whoever said that, إنه I can't do that, like, and so on. فإنه I feel like it's heavily around shame. And because you grow up with shame, you then become fear-driven adults. You always have this fear. And no, if I do it, people are gonna say this. If I do it, and no, if I fail, people are gonna be like, I told you so. يعني things go on in your head, and you're just scared to prove people right. Whoever doubted you, you're scared to prove them right because of the shame you kept hearing on and on from a young age. For you grew up to be like, you know what, no, I don't belong. I don't feel like I'm accepted here, or I'm supposed to be here, or this is too much for me, ولا these people are too good for me. فأحس really that's, from my perspective, I feel like that's the rabbit hole that a lot of adults went through from a young age. وبعدين you grow up and you doubt yourself, even if you feel like you're the smartest person in the room, or you feel like you have so much knowledge to give, but you still feel like, no, I can't. And it's just that little voice in your head. But I think you have to ask yourself, what scares you? Because I don't think imposters, I can't come here and tell you, do 1, 2, 3, and you're gonna be out of imposter syndrome. You're gonna feel like the coolest person in the room, the best person ever. You're gonna do it. لا, it doesn't work that way. I feel like the shift has to come from your head. You have to see things in a different light, in a different perspective, and in order to do so, you have to list down what scares you. What did people tell you? أنا والله, like, I did this exercise a long time ago. إنه the 3 most harmful things I've heard about myself or my career from a young age. When I wrote it down, استوعبت إنه okay, this is what happened to me, and I'm not gonna see these people as enemies anymore. I'm not gonna see whatever they said as something that is still gonna hurt me. It hurt me in the past, but خلاص, I choose to move on. And whatever they said, that's their own perspective, or that's their own issue to deal with. I choose not to believe what they're saying, or I choose to move on. خلاص, I had to make that shift. I had to stop listening to these voices, لأنه they're the ones holding you back. I promise you, whoever told you something bad, I swear to God, they forgot about it. they just said it to you, they forgot about it, they كملوا حياتهم ولا كأنه صار شيء. But you are the one who's repeating the same saying over and over growing up, لين ما it got embedded to your head, you started believing whatever they're saying. You have to just know what scares you, or know what people said about you before, and then look at it and be like, you know what, I choose to let go. I choose to be like, that does not define me. It never defined me. It's someone projecting their own issues or insecurities onto me, but it doesn't define me. So I heard this analogy on TikTok, obsessed with TikTok. Anywho, it says, to fall asleep, you must pretend to be asleep first, and that's how life works. So sometimes you just have to act that you're confident. You حتى لو these voices are in your head, or these voices are going on and on, stop listening to them. Start acting like you are the best in the room, you are the smartest in the room, not in a annoying way, but just be like, no, I'm good enough. Repeat this to yourself. It's a muscle you have to practice to get the courage, to get the confidence, to be bold, and be like, you know what, خلاص, I don't have to prove anything to anyone. I don't have to prove to anyone who hurt me no I'm good or I'm smart or I can do it. لا, just live for yourself. Be like, you know what, خلاص, I choose to let go of all of that, or I choose to move forward. And you decide who you want to become. Stop letting people project their insecurities or their limits or their shames or their like random complexes into you. Just be like, you do you, like your opinions, keep them to yourself and move forward, because you control your own self-image. How you see yourself, you control it. ما حد يقدر يجي يقولك how to see yourself or who you are. Be like, okay, thanks, بس إنه you know yourself, you know who you are, your destiny, your direction, your life, your pathway, you know exactly what to do. Just take the first step. Well, again, like I want to emphasize this point, إنه in order to get out of it, أحس everyone like has their own intuition and gut feeling that they know what's the right decision to take, what's the right step to take to get out of this funk. يعني I knew for me like I always knew this, what I needed to do to get out of this was to go to fashion school, because that's what scared me the most. يعني I always had the opportunity to go to fashion school, but every time I chose not to, every single time I chose not to. I knew that the thing that scared me the most, I had to accomplish to feel the confidence in myself. So I can't come and tell you, you need to do this. No, you need to like sit down with yourself and be like, okay, what scares me the most for my industry? What scares me? يعني إيش أكتر شيء تحس إنه people doubted you or were like, no, you can't do this, and therefore you started having a fear of it. Do it. Literally do it. And when you do it, you're gonna accomplish it. You're gonna feel amazing. You're gonna be like, you know what was I scared of all this time? Also, another analogy, the world doesn't reward credentials, it rewards courage. Again, when I stopped trying to prove myself to other people, or trying to be like, you know what, I'm the best fashion stylist, I'm the best art director, I'm the best I stopped trying to prove and myself to anyone. Well, that's when I felt free. Well, I felt like خلاص, you know, I can breathe and I can just be, and I can just be creative however I want to be. I can create whatever I want to be. And I guess that's when, like, I don't know if a lot of you guys know, but I made a calendar for 2026. It's something very random and out of the blue for me, because يعني I never properly studied graphic design, and يعني I never expressed my love for graphic design. But when I stopped caring about what other people's expectations of me, I was like, I'm gonna be creative however I want to be. I choose who to work with and who not to work with. I choose to create whatever I want to create. If that's a calendar, then that's a calendar. If that's whatever it may be, I'm gonna do it. يعني خلاص, no expectations. The most successful people, من جد think about it, the most successful people weren't the perfect ones. أصلا no one is perfect. The most successful people are the most delusional, the most يعني حرفيا they come to you, they say the craziest things. Believe them, because من كتر ما they believe themselves and they're so confident إنه I can do it, they will do it. They will do it because there's nothing stopping them. No amount of negative talk will stop them. That's how you should be. Be so focused and just do it, really. But yeah, again, I just want to say that courage is a muscle. Practice it every day. Practice to be courageous. Take bold moves in whatever you want to do, or stop caring about what other people say. No, there's always someone to tell you anything. You do amazing, there's always going to be someone to tell you, that's not good enough. You do bad, there's always going to be someone to tell you, I told you so. فحرفيا like stop and no waiting for praise. Just have the courage to get validation from yourself, not from any other person. Like, yeah, just really care about what you think about yourself and your path, or what's your future. في النهاية, it's your future, it's your life that you're gonna live in. It's your tomorrow that you're gonna wake up and live that life. And no, it's not those other people's lives, it's your life. But yeah, thank you so much. I feel like I've told you everything I need to tell you about imposter syndrome. But I hope I helped you guys. صراحة this topic is such a heavy topic to me, and it's such an important one. And I don't know if I emphasized how important it is to me in this episode, but it is لأنه really يعني it's what made me do this podcast. It's what makes me do everything I do in my career as a freelancer, as someone who always wants to freelance. I يعني as someone who is always doing things on their own. Imposter syndrome is so important to me لأنه it held me back from a lot of things that I could have done earlier. It held me back from a lot of opportunities, a lot of people I could have met, a lot of people I could have talked to. But it's fine. And I just wanted to talk about this because the sooner you realize that you're holding yourself back because of this imposter syndrome, the sooner you can get to your dream life that you want to live, your dream career. And no, yeah, just realize and know what scares you and everything people shamed you for growing up. Write it down, notice it, acknowledge it, and let it go, and خلاص live for the present and build for the future. But yeah, thank you so much. Love you guys. Please let me know what I can do better, because I'm really excited for this podcast journey, and I want every episode to be better and better for you guys. I'm gonna tweak obviously a few things, whatever criticism, constructive criticism, hopefully you guys give me. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about imposter syndrome, or if you dealt with it as well, or how you overcame it. I love reading people's stories and resonating with them as well. But yeah, I love you guys. Bye.